Good evening. In this evening's class, we are going to be doing a reading and writing assignment. They're from two popular newspaper magazines. One is from the Wall Street Daily and the other is from Newsweek. And the articles are about a page each. The topic, which I found interesting, and I'll tell you in a minute why I found interesting, is the decline of the honeybee population and why we should care. First of all, I have put the two articles on the screen, and you can either follow them on the screen. This is the first. This is the Wall Street Daily article. It's entitled, "Mankind Will Not Survive the Death of Honeybees." And the second article that's on the screen, and you also can open this on your phone. This was written several years after the first one, when the situation had improved somewhat. And this is from Newsweek. These are both reputable news sources. And although I ask you to think critically about it, I do think they are believable sources, or I wouldn't have chosen it. Okay, so our topic is the decline of honeybee populations and why we should all care. I've put on the screen, and I've also put around the classroom, some pictures of healthy honeybees doing what honeybees are supposed to do. They're gathering pollen and spreading it on flowers, and they are making it into honey. In doing some research, I found all kinds of advice to professional beekeepers, and there are many people paying attention to this topic. What first got me to notice that this is a problem is 2 years ago I planted a fairly large garden in my yard in the back of my house, and everything looked so healthy. And when we harvested everything, I cut into the cucumbers and the squash, and they were just hollow gourds. There was nothing in them. And so I took them to the county extension office. That's where some of these pamphlets came from. For those of you who are in other parts of the world, an extension office provides help in agriculture to farmers and gardeners, and they identified my problem right away. They said that these plants had not been pollinated, and the reason they had not been pollinated is because we have such a substantial decline in the bee population. And now that I've noticed it, as I go around flowers and walk around the yard, I do rarely see bees. Fortunately, I saw one yesterday while I was watering plants. So they showed me how you could do this by hand with tweezers, but I think the honeybees are much more efficient. In looking for something that we could do as our reading and writing exercise, and what I want to accomplish with this is, first of all, I want you to be able to read a newspaper or a magazine article, and I want you to be able to analyze its content critically. To analyze it critically means you do what? Yeah, you say, who is the source? Do they know what they're talking about? Is their background in agriculture? Is this a reputable publication? those are the kinds of things that you ask. And then tomorrow we're going to work on objectives 3 and 4, which is to verbally explain the problem and to explain some solutions that are being tried right now. And finally, to write a 4-sentence paragraph, and you will be given a model to follow for the paragraph. Okay, the first article, it's on the screen, and you can follow it there, or you can follow it on your phone. There are a couple of things that I'd like to point out before we look at it and read it in its entirety. First of all, a quote by Albert Einstein talking about considering our sources. Was Albert Einstein a smart man who knew a lot about a lot of things? Yes, he's probably one of the smartest people who have ever lived. If you look about halfway down the page, you'll see the quote from Einstein right there. In fact, Albert Einstein once prophetically remarked, "Mankind will not survive the honeybee's disappearance for more than 5 years." Okay, let's brainstorm. Why not? Why do we care if our honeybee population is declining? Okay, suggestions, ideas. Okay, our fruits and our vegetables will not be pollinated. Now, I was still going to eat, even if I had to go to the supermarket to get my cucumbers and squash. But what if that happened? What if that happened to the farms in California that produce our fruits and vegetables? Why, just off the top of your heads, why might this be happening? Pollution, parasites, pesticides. When we get to the second article, the Newsweek article, it does talk about some of the proposed solutions and ways we can make our hives healthier. Okay, let's start by reading from the screen or from your phones, and we're going to go around the class. I'm going to ask Elizabeth to start, and then we'll each take a turn reading 2 sentences. Elizabeth, would you start for us with, "You've probably noticed the unusual lack of honeybees." Thank you.